There were reports this week that Urban Meyer's job was not safe, that internally people within the organization were talking about him potentially being on the hot seat and one and done in Jacksonville. Here's his response to those reports and others criticizing the way he approaches players.
In the last 24 hours about dysfunction on the team, you having an incident with Marvin Jones, you having some acrimony with the assistant coaches saying in one instance that they were losers, because their resume didn't have any, championship or winning season, whatever. Can you at least address that and whether it's accurate?
Yeah, calling someone a loser, that's inaccurate. I have high expectations for our coaches. I very demanding of our coaches, and expect guys to be held accountable for their positions. And at times when they're not, those are where you address it. But I assure you there is not, whatever report, Amy told me something about that. That's nonsense.
So there you heard Urban Meyer vehemently deny any allegations that he had disrespected players, deny allegations that he's on the hot seat. He basically said that report was garbage. And, setting this up and putting some more context on this, the whole Marvin Jones situation they were talking about there, league sources apparently confirmed to ESPN on Saturday that Marvin Jones had been persuaded to return to the team after leaving the facility after hearing Urban Meyer publish criticism about wide receivers. Sources also said that Meyer and Jones had a heated exchange at practice after he didn't return. So there's some internal struggle there. Jacksonville Jaguars owner Shahid Khan, proud Pakistani by the way, has said that he will not be getting rid of Meyer before the season ends. He was very steadfast in that decision and very steadfast saying, I want to do the right thing for the team. I want to do the right thing for the city. So he's not going to be swayed by emotion, basically. And if we're being honest, the right thing for the city, the right thing for the team, the right thing for everybody involved, the right thing for Shad Khan as an owner is probably at the end of the season or even before then, if you can, move on from Urban Meyer. It has not worked. It has just not worked. This team is actually somehow a shell of the team that was 1-15 last year. Because instead of actually being in some games and actually competing at times, the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, they had a few games where they were one or two plays away from actually being winning that game. So it wasn't a situation that they were 1-15, but they were actually in some games. This year, they just have not been in games. They're 2-11. Their offense is struggling mightily. Even comparatively last year, they're still struggling mightily. This is after having 2 first-round picks in this draft, after having the number 1 overall pick in this draft. And the worst thing about it is the quarterback play is struggling. Trevor Lawrence, who came in, was a consensus number 1 overall pick, including by someone like me. I've said it. He's a consensus number 1 overall pick. Even he's struggling in this situation. They're ranked near the bottom of the league in almost every statistical category. They just recently benched their best player in James Robinson. And on top of that, they're coming off a loss to the Titans, 20-0. And the Titans are a team that they notoriously play hard against, or they have at least the past few years, even when they were bad. So is he on the hot seat? Is Urban Meyer on the hot seat? If he's not, he should be 100%. Urban Meyer was brought in to do a job of fixing culture, and he was brought in to do a job of fixing the development of talent. In his time here, he has done nothing to develop a inclusive or accountable culture. In fact, he's done quite the opposite. Urban Meyer, since coming in, the biggest thing that we've heard from Jacksonville this entire season was involving Urban Meyer partying with college-age girls at a club after a game, after a loss to, I believe, the Bengals. That's what we remember the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2021. That's the only thing you're going to remember about them in 2021. The fact that Urban Meyer did that, So that was the only thing that of note that he's actually brought attention to this whole year, and it was just bad because how are you going to hold players accountable when you aren't being held accountable yourself? We can talk about the James Robinson situation. I think it mirrors aspects of the Marvin Jones situation as well, because James Robinson, this dude, as an undrafted rookie last year, had over 1,000 yards rushing. I believe he had about 600 yards receiving. I might be spitballing there, but he was very effective back. Trust me, I had him in fantasy. Very effective running back. And this year they've gone from using him minimally to benching him. And this isn't even for their first round pick, Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne, they drafted in the first round, hasn't played all season because he was injured in preseason. So this isn't even a situation of, oh, you're getting the younger guy some more reps. They just benched their best player. He's their best player. That's not even a question. So you have that. You have the way people view the culture of the Jags. They're not developing that culture. You're alienating players. You're alienating staff. You're alienating everybody, the media as well. So him as a head coach in this instance has failed completely. It's not even close to being a success. I don't care if it's 1 year. The bare minimum Urban Meyer was supposed to be brought in to do is develop a culture. Not necessarily a winning culture right out of the gate, but a culture of accountability and a culture where you can transcend and evolve into a winning culture. He has done none of that. He's done absolutely none of that. He does not understand what it takes to be a head coach in the NFL, and that's fine, all right? People want to talk about how, Urban Meyer, he's this big flop in the NFL. Guys, Nick Saban was a huge flop in the NFL. Like, that's the thing. Sometimes, if you're a great college coach, you should just stay and remain a great college coach. Very few people have effectively transitioned from head coach in college to head coach in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh is one of the exceptions. You can even maybe put Chip Kelly in there. Actually, no, not after the time he had in 49ers. No, never mind. But it doesn't happen to everybody. There's a select few who are able to do it. Urban Meyer is not one of them, in my opinion. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.